If you've been burned by some waiver pickups already and are feeling more skeptical about the players available on your wire, you are definitely not alone. The season is still so young though, we can't underestimate the value of finding players with short and long-term potential for our fantasy squads. There are still plenty of guys oozing with potential, begging for your attention right now to go put in a claim for them. In this video, we're going to go over some potential waiver wire targets, we're going to recap my week 4 video, and we're going to go over some 2-star pitchers who should be widely available that you can plug and start into your week 6 lineups. I appreciate everyone tuning back in. I think it's so cool that we're starting to create a little community here with the goal of just dominating our fantasy baseball leagues, but also mixing in a few laughs in the process. And if you're new here, I'm Chris, and welcome to Number 2 Sports. Okay, first up, we probably have the most popular pickup in all of fantasy baseball right now, and that is Andy Pages, the center fielder off the Dodgers. I usually don't like talking about a player that's guaranteed rostered in every super competitive 12-man league, but he is only 51% owned on Yahoo, so that means he is floating around probably on some 10-man leagues right now. But man, what a difference 2 weeks makes in baseball, eh? This guy was barely hanging on to his job, let alone going on one of the hottest, potentially the greatest baseball streak of all time. He's won 18 for 33 with 4 home runs, 7 extra base hits, 9 RBI, and 3 steals. It's safe to say that this isn't anywhere close to being sustainable, but man, what a run he had at the dish. And in the process, he guaranteed saved his job for an everyday role moving forward with the Dodgers. He's always shown great power in the minors and a batting profile that was supposed to translate well to the majors, so the prospect pedigree backs up this recent success. Just note that it's not going to be this good going forward, but I still think he can be a very useful starter for the rest of the year. Okay, I know you guys are probably dying to hear about this. I haven't talked about it in a couple weeks, but my journey to make a professional wiffle ball team out in Bangkok. I keep sending all my footage, all my game tapes, all my highlights, all these scouts over there. None of them are biting. They all just respond back saying I need at least 250 subs before they'll even open my tapes or even open my emails. So if you guys are liking this content, it'd mean a lot if you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. Let's go. Next up, we have someone who was probably drafted late by a lot of teams or picked up right at the beginning of the season, and that's Matt Shaw, the Chicago Cubs third baseman. Now, Shaw's first in the majors went as poorly as it could have, and he was most likely mass dropped when he got demoted to AAA for additional seasoning. We have to remember though, this kid is only 23 years old, barely able to go to a nightclub in the States, and he had an amazing year last year in AAA. His triple stash was 28, 379, 488 with 21 homers and 31 steals. And most recently, he's been mashing down in Iowa, going 10 for 19 with 1 home run in his last 4 games. It's inevitable that he's going to get called back up soon. He's a Chicago Cubs third baseman of the future and practically the present, and I think he's the Cubs' best option at third base this season. So if you have an open NA spot and Shaw's floating around on your wire right now, pause this video, go grab him, go stash him there. You want to have him on your roster before he gets inevitably called back up and people remember how big of a sleeper pick he was, how big of a breakout pick he was, and everyone's rushing to the wire to go grab him. Next up, we have that guy with that tight little mustache, the outfield from Colorado, Jordan Beck. Another popular guy lately after he had that crazy 2-game stretch where he went 6 for 9 with 5 home runs. He's been moved up to number 2 in Colorado Rockies lineup, and I don't know how much that means given the lineup is pretty crap surrounding him, but if you're batting second on any team, it's a great spot to be for counting stats, and he gets the bonus of playing in Coors Field, where you all know the ball just flies off players' bats. He's still striking out way too much to be a consistent fantasy player, but he's getting good contact, he has good exit velocity, and he's getting a lot of barrels on the baseball. More barrels equals harder contact, more home runs, more extra base hits. He's 13 for 40 over the last 2 weeks with 5 home run, 11 RBI, and 2 steals, showcasing the potential for a solid all-around fantasy game. Now, he's not going to be this good the rest of the way out, but he's making a solid case to be a starter on this Rockies team the rest of the year. And at 23, there's always a possibility that this could be the start of a breakout. So that shouldn't be overlooked when deciding between him and, say, some old boring vet who's just enjoying a nice week of baseball. Let the freaking kids play, Colorado. Come on. Next up is someone we probably just want to keep a close eye on for now, but it's the outfielder from the Miami Marlins, Kyle Stowers. This guy was once considered one of Baltimore's top prospects and was the key acquisition in the deadline deal with the Miami Marlins last year involving Trevor Rogers. He was immediately added to Miami's roster after the trade deadline last year and frankly struggled pretty hard in 50 games with a 186, 262, 295 triple stash line accompanied with a gross 35.5 strikeout rate. But he's been hitting the ball really well to start the season. He's batting .323 with 4 home runs, 19 RBI, and 2 steals. And he's been one of the bright spots on a terrible Miami team this year. His barrel percentage is way up, so he's a little unlucky to only have 4 home runs so far, but he's cut his strikeout rate to 27.9, which is still too high. We'd still like to see that come down, but at least it's shown improvement from the 35.5% rate from last year. And that's what's most encouraging, that he's improving. He's still only 27 years old, so the door isn't completely shut on him yet. He's someone we definitely want to keep an eye on. I think best case, he can be a lower to middle end starter on 12-team leagues. And if he can keep that strikeout rate down, there's also maybe a chance he hits a little better. But if that rate starts climbing back up into the mid 30s, let's not be afraid to cut him and move on. Okay, I'm not actually recommending this guy, but this guy may have one of the greatest professional athlete names of all time, Dylan Dingler. Dylan Dingler, boys. Like, come on. This guy must have cleaned up at college parties. Just whip out the ID, show that nameplate off. But seriously, this guy's a unit. I just grab him for the fantasy team name potential. And honestly, jokes aside, he's actually playing pretty well right now. If he ever did take over the starting catcher job there and got full-time reps, he actually could be someone that would be worth using. So I'm hoping for him, man. I'm hoping for you, Dylan Dingler. Let's go. Next up, we got Timo Cruz, the starting point guard of Richmond High School basketball team. Fernando Cruz, the relief pitcher off the New York Yankees. All-time great movie, couldn't pass on the opportunity to reference it. But man, if you are a guy who loves chasing high upside, strikeout middle relievers, then oh boy, is Fernando Cruz the guy for you. He's already piled up 27 punchouts in 16.1 innings this year and making his career K9 a ridiculous 13.99. He loves striking out people more than he loves his absolutely nasty splitter, an 82-mile-an-hour pitch that absolutely just sinks, tails off, comes right in the hands of right-handed hitters, and when he places it well, no one is touching it. It's not very often that you see Bobby Witt Jr. this buckled off a pitch. I would argue that it's probably one of the best splitters in the MLB right now, evidenced by its 0.73 batting average and 56.1% whiff rate when he throws it this year. So you might be wondering, wow, Chris, why isn't this guy one of the best closers in the league? Why is he stuck in a middle relief role? Well, that's because his walk rate sucks. He's a career 11.4% walk rate, which is just not good for a relief pitcher. I think the move to the Yankees should help him with that though, and it looks like it has so far this year. If you look at his advanced stats, it's so red it's got Taylor Swift saying red. His fastball velo is up a bit from his career norms, and he actually hasn't got barreled yet, so that means he's doing a good job of keeping hitters off balance, and none of them are able to time it up and square up on him yet. So if you need help in the strikeout department and maybe some holds, you can definitely give Fernando Cruz a look. We're going to do a little Chris's 2-for-1 injured special right here. With first up, a future Hall of Famer and probably a lot of people's favorite pitcher for the last decade, Mr. Clayton Kershaw. Now, I don't need to go into much depth about Kershaw because we all know who this future Hall of Famer is and was in his prime. The big question here is, what version are we going to get in 2025? Now, I don't think Kershaw was healthy at all in 2024. He was battling multiple injuries, which led him to have his career worst year, ending with a 4.5 ERA in 7 starts. What I'm not forgetting, though, is the prior 2 years, he was an all-star, finishing with a sub-2 ERA and over a K per inning in both of them. I think 2024 is too small of a sample size to just think Kershaw has lost his competitive edge. That's why I pretty much drafted or stashed him in every league I'm in this year, because if he starts off strong, he has such big name value that people will be running so fast to the waiver wire and bidding him up so high. Because again, that name value is huge and it does drive people up in fantasy sports. You should definitely stash him now if he's available in your league. And let's hope that he's healthy. Let's hope that 2024 was just an anomaly. Like I said, he was battling multiple injuries. And let's see if he can get back to that all-star future Hall of Fame form that we've just seen Kershaw dominate with over the last 10 years. The second guy in this special 2-for-1 segment is Luis Gil, or I like to call Luis Gil. I'm not going to talk too much about this guy. We all know he took home AL Rookie of the Year honors last year, and he had that amazing May where it was Cy Young-esque, where he posted a .07 ERA throughout the month. This guy is a high upside strikeout pitcher with a nice 3-pitch arsenal with a 4-seamer slider changeup. He just walks too many batters, gets himself in too many sticky situations. If he can bring that down, he can be more like that guy we saw in May. Obviously not that good, but I think he can be a high-end starter. Let's just hope that he's fully healthy from that bad lat injury he suffered in March. Again, similar with Kershaw, stash this guy for free now. Throw him in your IL before he gets announced that he's healthy later this month or early June, and you don't have to beat or upbid any of your league mates for him. I know I said this was only going to be a 2-for-1 special, but boys, I'm still hungry, so I got one more name for you. Tony Gonsolin from the LA Dodgers. I just butchered that pronunciation, but whatever, we're going to keep going. He's battled so many injuries the last couple years, but he finally looks healthy. Had a great outing against Miami, and he gets to see them again. His next trip up to the bump. Add him now, see where it goes. Hopefully he stays healthy, and I think he can be a productive pitcher for most fantasy squads. Okay, it's time to get into some 2-start pitchers. And again, hopefully these guys are going to be widely available in most of your leagues, so you can actually grab them, get a couple starts next week, bump up those Ks, bump up the chances for wins, quality starts, hopefully keeping those peripherals low. Okay, first up is the guy we just finished talking about, Tony Gonsolin. And again, he's got to start against Miami and then Arizona. Hopefully you can have 2 decent starts for you, get some Ks, get a couple quality starts, keep those perfs low. Next up, we got Luke Skywalker, my boy, Lucas Giolito. I highlighted him in last week's waiver wire video, and he had a great first start. It was very promising. He's got 2 solid starts this week, one against Texas, and then in KC to end the week. I'm not a huge fan of the KC start. It isn't the most pitcher friendly, but I can live with it. I think he'll be all right. Let's hope he piles up 2 good starts, gets some Ks, quality starts, wins, and has a good week. And last up, we got Luis Siriano with his first start coming against the Mariners. And this team can be prone to just striking out a ton if their bats go cold. So I think that's a nice first spot for him to begin the week. And then he ends it against the Yankees, who he actually hasn't pitched against yet. So I'm curious to how he'll do. I think he'll be motivated for it. I think he's going to get his 2 decent starts. Hopefully get a lot of Ks while keeping those peripherals manageable. Okay, it's recap time. We're going to go over the video that I posted 2 weeks ago. Again, I'm not going to go into huge detail or huge analysis for these guys. If you're looking for that, go check out the video below. But okay, let's get into it. First up, we had Bubba Chandler, who's still dominating AAA. He just struck out 9 over 5 innings in his most recent outing, giving up 3 hits, which was actually a season high for him. So that just shows you how well he's pitching right now. He shouldn't be available on any wires. You need to go grab him. You need to go stash him. He could legit be a difference maker down the stretch. Next up, we have Roman Anthony, and he's still the best prospect in baseball. He's still on a trajectory to force himself into the majors soon. Go stash this guy now before it happens. And he's also just got a great baseball name. It just flows. With Jordan Lawlar, they just got to call him up already. He has nothing left to prove. He's batting .381 with a 1.16 OPS, and he's just mashing in the minors. Stash this guy. He's got to be up soon. He's too good. He has the potential to be a 5-category stud. The next guy we had was Nick Kurtz, and Nick got caught up on April 23rd, and he started off his MLB career going 7 for 27 with no home run and 3 RBI. It's not good, but it's not terrible. His average exit velocity is 93.2, which is nice, and he has a top 5 bat speed in the entire MLB. The kid will be fine. Just give him some time. Might be some growing pains, but his bat's too good to be held down for too long. We went deep with this guy, Evan Carter, but he definitely got the number 2 sports bump because he's been on a tear lately in his last 10 games. He has a nice triple stash of 323, 390, 640 with 1 home run, 5 RBI, and a 1.027 OPS. He's in the midst of his 6-game hit streak, but he's still struggling with left-handed pitching, going 1 for 14 over that stretch. He's making a lot of good contact though. He's showing signs of improvement at the plate. Let's hope this continues and you'll get called up, I imagine, in the summer months. Okay, the first waiver wire guy out of that video, Christopher Morel, he just went absolutely ice cold. 5 for 31 with 2 homers, 5 RBIs, and no steals. The guy was striking out more than my buddy Gil does at the bars on weekends. That was probably offsides, uncalled for, but regardless, I was hoping that he'd turn a corner, but he definitely hasn't. He's still striking out way too much, and he's not usable when he's striking out like this, even though he has that nice pop in his bat. Definitely a big L on this one. That's my bad. So the next guy, David Festa or Mr. Fiesta. I don't know if anyone saw this coming, of the Twins just randomly sending him down. He was pitching well, but I guess it makes sense now if we look back at it, because the Twins had such a short leash on him. They're yanking him at the first sign of trouble. And I know the thing that I mentioned was that he needed a longer leash. He needed to start qualifying for these wins and quality starts to kind of bump up his fantasy game to being a useful starter for fantasy squads. Clearly, the coaches don't trust him, evidenced by him sending him down. And again, wasn't allowed to pitch deep into games at all. In his most recent start in AAA, he had 7 strikeouts in 6 innings, and he retired his final 11 batters in 15 of the last 16. So again, he dominates AAA level competition. Again, when he gets called up, it'll be the same sort of thing. If he can last 5-6 innings and start qualifying for those wins, quality starts, he'll be useful. If not, probably not. This one's a little more neutral, but I'll still take a partial L for Mr. Fiesta. I think it's still more on the Minnesota Twins coaching staff. And last up, we had Jeremiah Estrada, who's randomly let in runs in back-to-back outings now, Alibi getting a hold in each one of them. I haven't seen the highlights if he was just serving up meatballs or what happened. I still think this guy's stuff is nasty. Again, he's more of a dynasty watch guy because he's in like a low leverage relief role right now. The hope is in the following years, he's going to take over that closer spot and dominate. Thanks again for everyone tuning back in. I think I just fixed the lighting here. I got a little bit of an upgrade on the setup this week, so it doesn't really look like I'm wearing lipstick. I appreciate y'all hanging out and watching this. Enjoy you guys' week. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.